Disgraceful, NBA act made Stephen A. Smith hail Caitlin Clark's bold stance. Picture yourself right at the top of your game with an opportunity to participate in the NBA All-Star Weekend and take home the title as the winner of the three-point contest. Every basketball player's dream, right? But not for Caitlin Clark. The WNBA star shocked many when she decided to pass on the invite to the NBA's three-point contest. It was a bold move for someone who is known for her insane shooting skills. Not even outspoken sports commentator Stephen A. Smith could resist praising her decision as a breath of fresh air in a world where star power occasionally trumped the value of genuine competition. Stephen Smith isn't afraid to say what he feels, so it didn't take long for him to castigate the NBA All-Star Game. Smith, known for his airborne takes, had called this year's performances disgraceful and embarrassing due to the lack of effort of players. These guys play harder in the summertime when they're working out than they do during All-Star Weekend, he pointed out, venting his frustration with the lack of competitiveness. How inexcusable is that? You can't just show up and play. They almost scored nearly 400 points last year in the All-Star Game, not a lick of defense. It was basically a glorified layup line and a glorified 3-on-3 rotation. His critique didn't stop there. Smith made sure to hammer home that the All-Star Game, which is supposed to be a celebration of the best in basketball, resembled more like a playful exhibition than a showcase of real talent. When you have a rotation in practice, that's one thing, but they did that in the All-Star Game, and it was disgraceful. They don't care enough, Smith exclaimed, revealing the depth of his disappointment. Smith then had something to celebrate, cracking up when he noticed Caitlin Clark. He praised her for picking the WNBA All-Star Weekend over the NBA's. That's why I love that Caitlin Clark is doing this. She's saying, wait a minute, I care. She's not throwing shade at the WNBA or the NBA, she's saying the WNBA matters most to me. It matters most to us ladies. I hope it grows to matter more, Smith said. Caitlin Clark's decision to skip the NBA All-Star event didn't just involve passing on an occasion. The message about her priorities was clear, and it is with the WNBA. Her representatives confirmed that Clark is waiting to make her three-point contest debut until the WNBA All-Star Weekend in Indianapolis this July. For Clark, it's not just about the spotlight. It's about sealing her place as a WNBA league leader, rather than simply hopping on the NBA bandwagon. It is interesting to note that Caitlin Clark did not go against her shooting style preferences, as she chose to skip the NBA's event. Even though some athletes love the heightened exposure of the three-point contest, Clark has been willing to admit that she likes the intensity, the kick of the ball, and the rhythm of the game shooting better. The timing of her decision only makes her decision even more striking. In the case of last year's NBA/WNBA showdown featuring Stephen Curry and Sabrina Ionescu, was a hit with 5.4 million viewers. But nonetheless, Caitlin Clark seems to want to forge her path. She doesn't need the NBA All-Star spotlight to make her feel validated. Already, she's starting to make the stage for a new type of crossover between the leagues that sees the WNBA taking center stage. However, her absence from a star-studded three-point contest featuring players like Curry and Klay Thompson only adds to the discussion about the NBA's All-Star Game. Indeed, Smith's criticisms highlight the fact that the NBA's All-Star Showcase could use a rethink. A player like Caitlin Clark, who is arguably one of the best shooters in basketball, right now, choosing the WNBA over the marquee event of the NBA, should tell you where the value is. Clark is also setting a precedent by focusing on the WNBA. Her decision proves that being a professional athlete is about more than just participating in the big events to gain the light.